we're gonna do a little bit different because I guess we previewed this debate, we previewed this conversation in an earlier podcast where we said, hey, maybe we need to talk about the top 5 dual athletes of all time, right? The athletes that play 2 sports and excelled at both of those sports. Let's get a top 5 list because we're curious to see kind of where we stand with this. So I don't know Kobi's list. I don't think he knows my list. We're going to start with the top 5. No particular order, or is this a 1 to 5 for you?
Oh, we're no particular order. We'll let you off the hook.
Okay, we'll let me off the hook. We'll let you off the hook.
We'll let you off the hook.
Let you off the hook. So give us the rundown of your top 5 all-time dual athletes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a long time coming. My list will certainly be better than Chris's. In fact, if you're watching this live, if you're on Instagram, go ahead and let us know which list is better. All right. If you're watching this live, let us know which list is better here. Okay. Number 5, coming in at number 5, the great Jim Brown, one of the best running backs of all time, and also a phenomenal lacrosse player. All right. Jim Brown was so good. He till this day, right? Till this day, Jim Brown, anybody associated with Jim Brown doesn't have to buy a drink in Cleveland, right? So shout out Jim Brown. Number 4, Jim Thorpe. Oh, you ain't know I was coming with that old school, did you? Jim Thorpe. Now I remember reading a sports book when I was very young, and I remember thinking, who is this Jim Thorpe guy? And I looked up his resume, and this dude is beyond impressive. And you should look it up too if you don't know. Right.
What's wild? Let me interrupt you. What's wild?
Oh, you're gonna interrupt my 2x2? What is this?
This is okay, going off.
Go ahead.
There's a city right next to where I live named after Jim Thorpe. It's called Jim Thorpe. Back to you.
Hembo, we gotta find a way to discipline this man for interrupting my 2x2 with this pointless stat.
That was a great stat.
This pointless
There's
stat.
a city named after the guy. Anyway, keep going.
Number 3, as you know, now you got me all backwards in here. All right. Number 4, Jim Thorpe, gold medalist, American football player, an amazing athlete. You're gonna be shocked by this one, bro. You're not gonna get this one right. Number 3, Cal Hubbard. Oh. Only person to be both in the MLB and the NFL Hall of Fame.
Ooh, that's a good one, man.
Let's go ahead and close that case right there. Number 2, we have, and this one is, it's really a question of preference in the top 2. All right. The list is fluid. It's a question of preference in the top 2. And number 2 for me has got to be Bo Jackson. Right? The man that sold us the cross trainer because he was a dual sport athlete, right? Not only was he a dual sport athlete, he could have been a tri-sport athlete, but we know about his crazy numbers in the MLB, right? And we also know about what he did to people on the football field, so much so that he was a cheat code in a video game because he was so good. Right. And number 1 for me, y'all can argue, y'all can debate, but this is my list, so I don't care. Okay. Number 1 on my list is primetime Deion Sanders. One of the best, if not the best. Actually, I'll go ahead and say the best cornerback of all time and a phenomenal baseball player. I'll go ahead and rest my case there. Go ahead. What you got?
Very nice. We have some similarities, obviously, because there's not a lot to this list, but we have some similarities. So let's start with the similarities so we don't have to duplicate. Because it's no specific order also, right? No specific order. I got prime time, right? Deion's up there for sure.
Go ahead and steal my list.
Listen, not stealing it. This is just right. These are some facts. This is some agreeable points. Bo Jackson, I got in there, right? Just again, outstanding talent, outstanding athlete. I also had Jim Brown in there.
Wow.
Yeah. So 3, right? 3 out of the 5 we agree on. But then I went a little bit more new school.
Wait, let me, I'm gonna let you finish. But young Dougal went to Jim Thorpe High School.
He did. I saw
right? That's a real fact. All right, let's move on.
And yeah, what do you mean? There's a city named. Okay, anyway, we're gonna keep moving. Shout out to Dougal going to Jim Thorpe High. I'm glad he has a high school named after him also, as well as a city. Anyway, so those three were in agreement. Prime time, Bo Jackson, Jim Brown. Here's my other two. Kyler Murray. How about Kyler Murray? Right? Think about this. I don't know if you know this. He got signed by the A's in 2018 out of school. And then the next year is the number 1 NFL draft pick. So in the same span of a year, he could have been playing at the heights of both of his professions at both of those sports. Got Kyler in there. Last one, number 5. Yeah, it's my 2x2. Shut it. Thank you. Julius Peppers. How about Julius Peppers over here? Julius Peppers, again, this guy, athlete. No, he's a Pro Bowler, but no, he put up some points playing for UNC, right? UNC basketball, high level D1 basketball. I put him up there in that top 5. That rounds out my top 5. We're good to go on the 2x2, right? Let's move on.
Are you serious? Kyler Murray? You talk about Kyler Murray, the man that has to have a clause in his contract.
Listen,
that he has to study a minimum of 4 hours a week as an NFL quarterback. Man never played in MLB, by by the way. Never played.
Yeah, but he got signed to.
He got signed,
which means he could have. Kyler's a reach like Pat Bev on defense. All right, Dougal. He's not a reach. I really believe
That's a good one.
I really believe it. But anyway, that rounds out the top 5.
That's insane. What about runners? Oh, that's a good question. First of all, drop on here. If you're live with us, go ahead and drop on here. Who had the best list? You can go ahead and spell that name, Kobi.
Yeah, right.
And also drop your top 2 dual athletes. Drop your who is your top drop? Which one do you disagree with or disagree with? You can put it in the comments or you can put it in live if you're live with us right now. And runners. I mean, there are a lot of runners, but I think the issue with runners, and then we move on. The issue with runners here is that you run in all sports, it's kind of tough. I think people kind of look down on it a little bit. But if you have a runner, I'd love to know.
That's right. But running is, I don't know. It's definitely a sport. Right?
There's no question. It's one of the oldest sports.
Absolutely. Why is that important, by the way? Because we talk to corporate athletes. We know, right? Coach and I both understand, right, that we are out there. A lot of you are out there continuing to work in your corporate job as entrepreneurs, in your work life, in your family, and all those things. And we take this approach to calling, ourselves corporate athletes or entrepreneurial athletes because we train in the same ways. We need similar mindsets, right? There's a lot of things that are similar in that space, right? So when we brought up this conversation about dual athletes, because I think we were talking about Steph Curry, right, excelling in golf, it's really just a mindset, right? And it's the mindset that we talk about. If you're going to be a champion in one thing, you can be a champion in another thing. If you have the discipline in one area, you can have the discipline in the other area. Very similar to why we talk about health and wealth here on this podcast. So thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Good Life. We hope you found our discussion helpful and inspiring.
If you enjoy this episode, please take a moment to subscribe and like our channel. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an episode.
We want to hear from you, our listeners. If you have any feedback or suggestions for future episodes, please leave us a comment down below.
If you're listening to the podcast audio version, we appreciate you just as much. Thank you for tuning into the Good Life Show. And be sure to subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast platform so you don't miss an episode.
We believe that everyone has the potential to live their best life and we hope our show helps you get that one step closer to achieving your goal.
If you know someone who would benefit from our show, please share it with them, and thank you for your continued support.
So again, that's it for another week's episode here on The Good Life. We'll see you next week for another inspiring conversation.
Welcome to The Good Life.